Hello guys, welcome back. I'm sorry, this is the 6th or 7th time I'm doing this. Sweet, sweet coffee. I wanted to make a video about Godspusing, and I will say right here, if you give me static, you are kicked off the channel. Okay. Okay, yeah, about, when you're Godspus to Loki, when you're married to Loki, there will be times when it will be, he will present you with a challenge of faith. And not that you get out of it if you don't have that kind of relationship, because you'll get yours too, but you will get a challenge of faith. And mine, of course, was giving up that other channel that was killing me. And when I first started it, it was so much fun, and I thought of how far it could go, and it seemed at first like I was going to be a huge success. And then because I won't put up with people acting a fool, I started to, nosedive in drama and people endlessly wanting stuff. It just killed my soul. And Loki gave me a challenge a couple days ago. I didn't realize it. He had me come across this thing totally at random of a cat and a dog. You probably saw it. Get married, and they're going to start a bake shop. And the upshot of it is they both get jobs so that they can finance their dream without, going to the bank. And Cat gets so sucked into corporate America that, Dog's gonna leave. Dog's not being unfaithful or anything, but Dog is gonna leave because Cat misses their anniversary. Dog can't do it anymore because Cat is just married to the job. The job comes first. They need her, and it's so important, and she has to be there, and you don't understand. This person wanted this, and this person wanted that. And I realized it was exactly the same kind of language I was using to Loki. Like, you don't understand. I'll be there in 5 minutes, and 4 hours later, I was still looking for a game to play, and, he was hurt, and I would say, oh, I'm so sorry, and he would be like, Dog, it's okay. And it's not okay. But, I thought this was what I had to do to please the gods, to earn my living, to make them proud of me. I'm getting emotional. And he was like, no. He was showing me every way he knew possible. He was looking physically older. He was just looking sad and depressed. All the gods I've seen sad and depressed. Even the gods they brought in seemed to be in mourning, and they did not seem to be happy. And, my spiritual challenge here is to trust them. To trust them when I let go of something that was killing me. And again, excuse me, it was not making me money. I was not making any kind of monetary compensation at this point. I haven't been for some time. And, people assume that, you'll get better and better and better. And that's what they always tell you. And it did not turn out that way. And sometimes when you're married to Loki, or you have that kind of relationship with any god, they will come to you and say, this is killing you, get out. He did not put it that bluntly. He expected me to know from signs, like bears showing up, and bears about hibernating, rejuvenating, and from asking me really nicely to please take the weekends off, and to please not work so much, and to please work half days. And I was totally blind to it because I was so focused on making a career. And maybe with you, it's something different. Maybe your career is not the problem. Maybe it's, maybe you're going overboard in the religious aspect. It's possible. When you become kind of what I'm going to call a god stalker, when you're there all the time, when your gods are kind of like, hey, yeah, I love you, but go do something else. You know what I mean? I used to say in Wicca, when I taught people, the gods want spiritual fruits, not religious nuts. And they do. They want you to kind of reach that balance. It's great to spend the whole day with you sometimes. But every single second, every single day, they don't want you just looking at them like it. It gets kind of creepy. If it would kind of frighten your mortal spouse, probably don't do it to a god that you're supposed to. Loki would love the all-day attention occasionally. But, he also likes that quiet time with you, blah, blah, blah. And we all reach spiritual challenges as God spouses, and they'll be different for all of us, and we will all have our own way of dealing with them. With me, I just had to take a leap of faith and say, I'm quitting. What was actually holding me back from quitting was that, I was afraid I would let him down. I was afraid I'd let my ancestors down. I was afraid I let my parents down. I was afraid to let me down. I was like, if I quit this job, my life's going to be a disaster, and I'm going to be And look, he would just kind of look at me like, really? Tell me again how many how many 20,000, 40,000, 60,000 years you've had. And I'm like, shut up. And I should have listened earlier. I thought, because that's what I wanted to hear, and that's another skill to pick up as well. I thought he wanted me to go on forever. I had a plan of 5 years, and I thought he wanted me to go on forever, and I felt so bad about wanting to quit and, crying myself to sleep. And again, my challenge was to recognize when my God needed me, when, he was getting physically older and, looking so sad, and all the other gods were looking so sad, and it was like, they're planning for a funeral. I was actually concerned I was going to die, because they've all been really sad and really depressed and telling me they're sorry and coming over and putting their hand on my shoulder. I said, what? Am I going to die? Am I sick? What's the matter? I'm so sorry. And I was like, what's the matter? And nobody would tell me. None of the gods would sit down and have that discussion with me, because they knew I kind of had to come to it on my own. They weren't being cruel to me. They weren't being cruel to Loki. But for how headstrong I am, I had to come to the decision on my own, and I had to open up my own eyes in my own time. And I know how hard that was on him. I know how miserable he's looked. And it's just so freeing to not have all that pressure on me. Again, maybe your situation is different. Maybe it's not, a job. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a relationship with a person, or whatever else, fill in the blank. What's, going wrong in your life, and the solution that'll work for you. It's like, I can't give you, one solution that'll fit everything. It won't. That's the part of espousing nobody likes. To admit it, nobody likes the part in any marriage where you have to agree to, totally and abruptly change something, and you can feel like your spouse is just being, at first you feel like your spouse is being grabby and needy, and you're like, oh, you're just jealous, or you don't want me to do this, or you want all the time for yourself. And we had that discussion many times, and he was telling me no, and I just did not want to hear it, because all I cared about was the job over my God, over my spouse, which was terrible. But I at least have been given enough grace by the gods that I can admit when I made a horrible mistake. And Loki is the kind of god that will stand by you even when you've made a horrible mistake, because, yes, dear, he said he's made his own, and, he is loyal. He will be loyal to you. It's, it's going to be very much, okay, sit back and see what happens now, but, it will give me time for this channel. It will just take a huge amount of stress over me, because as soon as I quit, I was like, why am I so worried about my taxes? I went through the couple envelopes. I have a couple envelopes in a neat stack, and now I have all month to contact the guy that does my taxes, send it to him in neat little envelopes, send him a check, and I'm done. And I'm like, why was I so upset and hysterical? Oh yeah, because I had the job from Hill. Sorry, Hal. She's like, yeah, whatever. But, that's why I was so stressed out about everything. And my hair was falling out. And, my hair finally started to grow. I was taking, hair and nail stuff for, 4 months now. And I'm like, this crap is crap. It's not working. My nails are, shredding and everything else. And Loki was like, well, maybe it's because, I really couldn't get out to get milk, but, I'd been having, non-dairy creamer, dairy creamer, but, powdered creamer, and I hadn't gotten as many eggs, but, I knew it was something else. I knew something was, shooting through my body that was, turning my hair and my nails into crap, And that's what it is. Stress does it to me every time. My hair will fall out. My skin will just get really bad, and like my nails were getting bad. So sometimes being a spouse is not glamorous. I know a lot of people don't agree with it, but I look at it as a gay person. I look at it like gay marriage. If you don't believe in it, don't marry a gay person. So if you're straight and you don't believe in gay marriage, don't marry bisexual, don't marry a pansexual. Ta-da! And I'm gonna get so much hate for that, but I really don't care. I don't get paid to be here. Yeah. You do, in all seriousness, you do have to find out sometimes what that challenge is in your marriage and kind of meet it, because we as humans can be, we having high winds. We as humans can be terribly, terribly headstrong and just be, fighting our gods and be like, you don't know. And we had all these terrible discussions. And this explains why they were, so depressed and so upset. And it is scary. It is scary. I'm like, as it's settling in, I'm exalted to be out of that job. But then at the same time, I'm like, if only I'd stayed. If only I'd worked. I'm still thinking 3 jobs ago of that. I never let go of stuff. And Loki's told me that. But yeah, sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is very scary, because you think, like, if I let go of this job or this relationship or this thing, maybe it's a physical thing, whatever will happen to me, I will be, without anything. And that's never going to be the case. Loki will always be there for you. As I was looking around the internet, a Satanist had written an article, and this is pertinent, about, Satan never turns his back on his children in their time of need, and Loki's the same way. And it's not amplified for a spouse, because they don't prefer spouses over sons or daughters or whatever. But you can certainly depend on them to be there for you. Now, Loki has not been quite as close lately, and not from the stress, but because he brought new gods in, and he was like, please, for the love of Goddess, just bond and let them in and let them teach you something. And it kind of took Lilith and Pazuzu and, Lucifer looking so sad and depressed, and Behemoth was also here, and I was like, what in God's name is wrong with any of you? Why are you so sad? Is it, the cold weather bothering you because you're desert deities? What's the deal? And it was, sounds really old-fashioned and corny, but no matter whatever their aspects are, the gods really do value a good marriage and a happy home. And, when they see that not working, when they see a marriage, being disruptive or falling apart, or, in danger because the one spouse, usually the mortal, is so headstrong and will not listen, they'll kind of go into mourning. And Lucifer's kind of like fatherly towards me, and he's like, you really have to step up your game. You really have to pay more attention to Loki. He's your god. He's my god over all other gods. That's why I consider myself a Lokean. And 2, he is your husband, and he is your best friend. You have to honor those relationships. I'm getting all teary-eyed now. You have to show him you love him, or you're going to lose him. And, it wasn't like he was threatening, but he was like, even a god can only take so much. You have to step up. You have to do your part. Which is more important to you, this channel, this so-called job, or, your spouse and your best friend. I'm okay. I'm not crying, you're crying. But yeah, sometimes spousing does come with those challenges. It's just like having a mortal spouse. If you were dragging yourself to a minimum wage job even, to try to help out with the bills, and you were just stressing and crying and you couldn't take it, money is only worth so much. Money is only worth so much. It's not worth your health. It's not worth your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health. It's not worth you crying yourself to sleep every night. It's not worth you working, a crap job, and it's going absolutely nowhere, absolutely nowhere, absolutely nowhere. I didn't say quit your job tomorrow, But, you know, if you are in a spousal situation with a god, or any situation for that matter, you know, put it in their hands, put it in Loki's hands and say, I'm at a dead end, and I had been working intensely over like the past 2 years to like try to like shove all the magic possible into that channel and try to revive it as it died, because it died, flatlined a couple times, and it would just like briefly get up and stagger around, and then it would die again. It was really sad. And I had to listen to Loki. Loki finally, he reached his breaking point. He's on board. If I would still be passionate and want to do it as a hobby, he would still be on board, but that's long past. It's just I have the type of personality I cannot deal with people having expectations I can't meet. I can't deal with it. I will shut down and get upset and hysterical, and I can't deal with it. And every day it was that on that channel. Buy this, buy that, play this, play that, do this, do that. Why aren't you younger? Why aren't you thinner? Why aren't you prettier? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? And those are the kind of comments I got on the daily. Why are you gay? You can't say that's gay. And I'm like, yeah, actually I can, because I made like a gay Furby couple, for example, in one video, and I got so much homophobic hate on it. Like just the other day, I had to, you know, delete a comment, delete somebody from the channel, and I'm like, why am I putting up with this crap? I'm not even getting paid anymore. And, you know, comments about my age, and comments about my weight, and comments about everything else, and I hated that job. There's more to it that I hated than I loved, because no matter what I did, I was never good enough. And we all know that's not a healthy situation for me to be in. I hate challenge. Screw you, challenge. I hate you. So it was like I could not be in that job anymore. If you love stress, start a YouTube channel. You will thrive. If you would thrive on Wall Street, you will thrive on YouTube. Trust me. You may not ever make any money, but you will thrive. And yeah, as a spouse, sometimes you have to take a knee and say there's things that are more important than a job, or a flag, or the Pledge of Allegiance, or the national anthem, or anything else. Your gods are more important. Your spouse and best friend and lover and everything else is more important to you, or should be, than, you know, any material thing. And I'm not saying that from a place of plenty either. I'm saying that from, oh, now what are we gonna do? But you have to have faith. So I hope you guys have liked this. I hope it helps. You know, I don't make these videos just to hear myself speak. Shut up, Loki. But I do make them to, you know, hopefully help you. I'm the old lady of YouTube. I probably have a little more long tooth experience than some people. So I hope that helps. And, you know, if you have any suggestions for a video, legit suggestions, you can feel free to leave them below. And if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.